having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated with the UFC.
Jake Paul drops bombshell about Conor McGregor fight just when you thought the Jake Paul circus couldn't get any more outrageous this time. He's got the audacity to claim that he's ready to fight Conor McGregor. Yes, you heard it right. But the conditions have made everyone scratch their head.
Doesn't want to push for unless the UFC is directly at the table negotiating, because quite frankly, that's what it's going to take for any of this to be.
Jake Paul somehow has let people believe he's the real boxer, and now he's making conditions to bring UFC or Dana White on the table, or else nothing will happen. Like, seriously, Jake Paul, you're now setting sights on McGregor, a man who's dominated both MMA and boxing. But with conditions, could this be the fight we've all been waiting for? Or is Jake just trying to get more eyeballs on his next big announcement? Jake Big Paul has thrown yet another curveball into the combat sports world. Well, what else can he do better other than dropping bombshells? In his recent revelation, he claimed that Conor McGregor's camp is desperately trying to arrange a fight with him, and they're not going through the usual channels. Instead, they've enlisted Bellator superstar Michael Venom Page as the mediator. Yes, McGregor's team, with all their resources and connections, reportedly reaching out through a rival promotion, is not just surprising, it's downright shocking.
Having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated.
But of course, Jake Paul didn't do what we all expected. He didn't jump at the chance to chase McGregor's attention like a dog after a bone. Jake flipped the script with a move so bold UFC and Dana White must be involved. That's right, there will be no UFC and no fight. Jake wasn't just playing hardball, he was making sure he got exactly what he wanted. And then some more. This demand left everyone wondering why on earth Jake suddenly insisted on Dana White and the UFC being a part of the circus. Let's be real, this is Jake Paul we're talking about, and his entire career is built on disrupting the status quo.
I'm just saying, for the UFC to grant Conor McGregor the right to fight Logan Paul, and Dana hates the Pauls, you know how Dana holds grudge.
So when he calls for UFC's involvement, he's not just flexing, he's leveraging the UFC's global dominance like a chess master who knows exactly what move to make. Dana White and the UFC bring far more than just credibility. They bring global reach, institutional muscle, and a fan base that spans continents. That's where Conor's opinions match. As he calls out WWE, you don't get to be a global sensation by simply having a few knockout wins over YouTube stars.
Dana White clause attached to this contract for Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, or Conor McGregor Logan Paul, none of this happened.
By throwing down this gauntlet, Jake's doing something even more masterful. He's forcing the UFC, the very organization that once looked at him like a circus act, to validate his existence as a legitimate player in the fight game. He's not just asking for recognition, he's demanding it. And suddenly he's got the biggest sports promotion on the planet caught in a position where they have to decide whether to ignore him or take the fight to a global audience, potentially rewriting the way fights are negotiated forever. You
guys see the Logan Paul Conor McGregor wins in that fight? I think Logan Paul.
I mean, we haven't seen Conor fight in a while.
I feel like Logan Paul at his size, when he fought Floyd too, that was years ago. He's like been training, he's in insane shape.
Man, I wish Conor wasn't doing these types.
If the Paul McGregor rumors weren't enough, another layer of intrigue comes from reports of where this mega fight might take place. ESPN Salvador Rodriguez dropped a tantalizing nugget. The bout between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor could be slated for July, August, or September 2025 in India, and the driving force behind it, the Ambani family, known for their jaw-dropping wealth and influence. The Ambanis are reportedly backing the event, turning what could have been just another fight into a global phenomenon. I think $100 billion family looking to kind of replicate what's going on in Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. How they're pushing into boxing India with that kind of money. Maybe trying to do this, but choosing India is not a random choice hosting this fight. There isn't just about geography, it's about strategy. As we know, India is one of the fastest growing markets for combat sports with a massive untapped audience hungry for more. Put this in 606 to 614. By bringing a marquee event like this to India, the promoters aren't just targeting the country, they're making a statement to the entire world. This is where the future of global sports lies. And then there's the money, because when the Ambani family is involved, we're not talking pocket change, with a staggering network worth of $113.5 billion. The richest family in Asia could bankroll this fight without so much as a dent in their telecom piggy bank. Hosting this fight in India isn't just about putting on a show, it's about rewriting the financial playbook for combat sports. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor wouldn't just be trading punches, they'd be making history, all while bathing in the glow of dollar signs and rupees. First, it just came out Conor just put it on Twitter that he was in talks with the Umani family to fight Logan, and the timing absolute perfection. With no major global sporting events hogging the spotlight in mid-2025, all eyes would be on India. This isn't just a fight, it's a power move, an epic, money-soaked spectacle that could forever change how and where the biggest bouts in history take place. And when you've all the fighting details, let's look at what these two boxers ready to square off. Conor McGregor, the guy who won a world title in 2 weight classes, and then there's Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned fighter who somehow managed to convince people he's a threat. McGregor's fighting style is as flashy as his ego, relying on his insane knockout power to take out opponents faster. He's a big dude, and he can crack. And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his any more pro. And then there's Jake Paul, who has had a career in boxing that's impossible to ignore, from a social media star to a legitimate pugilist. This guy has turned heads and ruffled feathers. As of November 2024, his professional record stands at 11 wins and just 1 loss, with that single blemish coming at the hands of Tommy Fury in February 2023. Not too shabby, right? Let's not forget that Jake even added an amateur victory over DJI in 2018, boosting his overall tally to a solid 12-1. Sure, some may argue about the level of competition, but whether he's beating seasoned fighters or stirring the pot with online beef, Jake is one of the most talked about names in the fight game. And don't miss Logan Paul from equation. He went from filming pranks to trying to knock out pros. His career highlights are, let's say, unique. He fought KSI twice, and guess what? They couldn't even make up their minds who won, ending in a draw and a split decision. As one, it does show us that this is a Jake Paul driven thing going on here, and the Conor McGregor makes sense because he's probably still one of, if not the biggest name in combat sport. But the million-dollar question here is, why does this matter? Because Jake is essentially throwing down the gauntlet not just to McGregor, but to the entire UFC establishment. By demanding UFC's involvement, he's challenging Dana White's monopoly on combat sport, while simultaneously daring him to acknowledge Paul's most valuable promotions as a legitimate player. This is no small move, it's a calculated play to shake up the traditional power dynamics of fight promotions. The ripple effects could be massive. If Jake gets his way, it could pave the path for more cross-promotional mega events, breaking down the barriers between independent fighters and corporate behemoths. Imagine a world where MVP and UFC co-promote, merging Jake's social media savvy with UFC's established global presence. It's the kind of move that could forever shift the balance of power in the fight game. Logan said, "You might be next. Would you be SLA? He's going to beat Logan." But the fight between Paul and Conor isn't just about egos. McGregor's public image has taken some hits lately: legal troubles, sponsorship losses, and a string of lackluster performances in the octagon. A fight with Jake Paul might seem beneath him, but it's also an opportunity for McGregor. This isn't just a fight, it's a chance to remind the world why he's still the notorious Jake. Meanwhile, plays chess while everyone else plays checkers. His callouts aren't random, they're calculated by targeting MMA legends. He's positioning himself as the ultimate disruptor, the guy who doesn't just box, but writes the rules of combat sports. What makes this rivalry so compelling is the drama. It's not just about who would win in the ring, it's about the narrative. Jake, the social media provocateur, challenges McGregor, the king of combat sports chaos. It's legacy versus disruption, old guard versus new wave, and most importantly, entertainment gold. As crazy as it sounds now, based on how I felt about this 4 years ago, that Jake Paul would give Conor McGregor real problems in a boxing ring and potentially knock him out, this rivalry could change the game entirely. If Jake versus McGregor happens, it's not just a fight, it's a blueprint. It's proof that cross-discipline matchups can work, that social media stars can stand toe-to-toe with seasoned pros, and that the fight game is evolving in ways we never imagined. Whether you love it